What's up, guys? I am back. Now, I know that I might sound just a little bit tired. Bear with me today, because today I sadly have gotten a very big headache that's been lasting for, well, I would say about 4 hours up till now. So keep in mind that the reason why I might not be as crazy as I usually am is because of my headache. And also, I want to say another thing. I mentioned last time that I want to actually be more laid back. So, though it's probably not going to be this much laid back moving forward, it was probably be a little bit more closer to this. So, basically, I want to talk about something. So, even though this sounds a little bit weird, have actually really not played many games for. I haven't really playing anything, if I'm going to be honest, for like over 2 years now. And you might be questioning what I mean by that, since I literally play games every Friday here on the stream. Now, what I mean is, I have been continuously just working on my movie thing, and because of that, because I am incredibly stubborn, I just were like, you know what, Anrex, if you want this thing to actually, well, proceed, and you want to work on this and get someone with this, you can't be playing games. But I have just a few days ago finally finished at least a good amount of stuff, so that now I can put it behind me, and you know what, I can play games. I shit you not, yesterday was so nice. It was so nice. I haven't, and I'm 100% like, I'm telling you guys, this is how it's been for me. I haven't literally played any games unless I was streaming for like 2+ years. Meaning I haven't really been trying to enjoy gaming without constantly thinking, I need to record that. And even though I could probably get used to it at some point, just not streaming, but just recording, because then it doesn't really matter what I say or what I do in the video, because I can always cut it out if something happens. I haven't really been able to like play a game for a while without constantly thinking that you need to record it. And though it doesn't really make that much of a difference, it's just when you are a content creator or a VTuber, you end up in this very bad thing that sadly many people do, just like me, which is you get the content brain. You develop the brain of always being like, oh, I need to do this, or I need to record this, because just what if I accidentally do something that is so amazing or just so funny, and it's just sad that I didn't record it. And that's sadly how many people think. Besides, of course, always having playing stuff. If you are a content creator, you usually be playing a lot of stuff before actually recording. But yesterday, I, for the first time in over 2 years, played a game without recording. And it was so nice. In fact, I was actually kind of surprised, because I didn't think I'll be enjoying this specific game as much as I thought as I ended up doing. Because, don't get me wrong, I like survival games. That's like the #1 type of game that I like playing a lot of in the past. But if you actually look at my videos, I don't really have that many videos of me playing survival games other than Minecraft. That's about it. But it's also because survival games are typically a game that is very hard to make interesting, unless you have people you're playing with. But I ended up playing this game called Once Human, which is fairly new if I remember correctly. And man, I love that game. That's actually one of the few games where I feel like I'm back to where I was in the past. Like, I know this sounds probably like very boring to you, but the #1 type of like thing I love in a game is if you just have infinite amount of freedom and you can just go around in an apocalyptic world and loot stuff. I know it sounds very basic, but I love going around in open world zombie survival games looting a bunch of houses that's been abandoned, finding hidden treasures and whatnot, and then go back and then build your own base and survive. I know it sounds basic, but I love it. It is one of my cozy games, and if you could say that, it's some of my. It's the type of game I normally play a lot of if I want to just chill and relax. And also, again, as I said before, survival games in general, no matter what kind of survival game it is, unless there's an actual story that is typically more heavily featured rather than just having it be a side thing, it's very difficult to make it into an actual video that's interesting to watch, unless you, again, have the perfect personality, which is like 1 in a million of people who are a streamer, probably not even, who are that lucky to have a personality where they can just play whatever game they want. It doesn't have to be specifically one type of game, but just whatever game they want, and because of their personality, people just instantly love the person. There are very few people that are like that. I am not like that, I don't think so, at least. I tend to be a little bit too real a lot of the time, because I don't know if you know, but I have trouble, not specifically trouble lying to people. I have trouble just saying things how they are, because that's what I did a lot in the past. But it's also because I'm too buried, and I think I'm just gonna say this now. I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm just gonna say things, whatever it is I say, and because I've come to terms with myself now that it doesn't matter if I keep thinking about every single thing before I ask a question or before I say something, because I might have a hot take, as some might say, or I might say something that some people don't like. The fact of the matter is, we live in a world where you cannot make everyone happy. That is simply impossible, and I'm just gonna start saying things. And if you, I'm gonna say this before I start doing this from now on. There's one last thing I want to clarify and say, and I know it doesn't matter if I say this or not, but I just want to say it because at least I've said it if I do this. So what the very last thing I'm gonna say now is, I as a person don't, well, me specifically rather, I'm not homophobic, I'm not transphobic. In fact, I don't care. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you are, where you came from, anything. There are only 2 things I care about when it comes to people. Can we have fun? Well, it's kind of 3 things. Can we have fun and chill? And can we just enjoy whatever it is we are doing? Those are the 3 only things that I care about in a person. Whether it's someone that I meet in a very short term but I don't actually end up becoming friends with, or if it's just someone that I might even be possible to become friends with. It does not matter what type of relationship or whatever it is. The number 3 things, I want to be able to chill out with a person, like chill, I just enjoy the moment, have fun, and enjoy whatever it is we're doing without feeling like we're against someone or whatnot. And now that I've said this, you know now that every time I might sometimes, again, make some jokes where it might be a little bit too crazy sometimes, but I want people to know this is entertainment, this is for fun. And if I have to keep thinking every single time before I say something, I'm gonna become insane. Because I already have a brain that autocorrects everything that I say, so that I don't actually form a full-on opinion on something and then have that opinion for a while. No, that doesn't happen. Instead, I just autocorrect myself to what the majority of people think is okay. And I think it's just, it's been so stressing for me, and it's just not fun. So from now on, I'm just gonna say whatever. And listen here, okay? I don't hate anyone. I mean no offense, but listen, okay? it doesn't even matter if you want to be like, well, you're content creator or whatnot, you have to do that, blah blah. It doesn't. You don't even have to be a content creator to have be dealing with this problem. Imagine being in a business and you get interviewed for everything that you do. You have to monitor every single thing in your head before you say it, because everything you say could be controversial or could ruin your company or whatnot. And while I do get that VTubing can in fact become a career, I have just decided that even if I want this to be something I would love to do more in the future as an actual career, I have just decided that I'm not gonna take this as seriously as I've been doing the past many months now. I'm just gonna be laid more back now. I'm gonna play games, hang out with you guys, have fun, and if I end up saying something that might be a little bit too crazy and you don't like it, well, sorry to say this, but you can just leave the stream then if that's the problem. I don't care anymore. I am tired of being constantly stressed about everything that I say, because not only is this something that affects me when I'm recording and gaming, it affects me when I'm like away. It affects, well, it doesn't affect me in gaming, that's a lie. It affects me when I'm streaming, when I'm recording, and then it affects me when I'm outside working. So I'm just gonna, again, you guys know that now, that I don't mean any offense, but if you take offense to anything that I say, you're probably not an adult, and you're probably also not old enough to even be on Twitch. So that's not going to be my problem anymore. Besides, my streams are labeled as adult or mature most of the time because the games that I play, I mean, or because Twitch is just an adult platform. It's always been an adult platform, so that's just how it is. So guys, I'm just gonna say things how they are now. By the way, the version of me that you're gonna experiencing from now on is how I used to be in the past when I was streaming in Danish many years ago, before switching fully over to English. So just know that now, because Danish people can be very toxic in the way they, like, I'm not overreacting, by the way. A lot of Danish guys in the friends groups are just very mean and very toxic to each other, and not in a fun way, by the way. Like, they are literally like calling each other's ugly, just being racist to each other, like being very rude and mean. That's how people are, and that while I don't want to be toxic and all this stuff, just know that I might say things that might be a little bit crazy sometimes. That's all I want to say. So guys, now that's it. So I was actually thinking about something. So I didn't know that the game I wanted to play was a game where let's just say the game that I wanted to play today is a game that also will be saying some kind of like it's a game that I haven't heard of myself personally, but when I tried opening it up today, it gave me a disclaimer. And that disclaimer said that there was like, there was violence, gore, and there was like homophobic and transphobic stuff in it, and all of this shit. So, again, that's a little bit crazy. I don't think, you might be like, oh, well, there's some games that has that too, but like, it's probably very little. I don't know how to say this, but it's a lot. While I still don't know what the game is actually about, it, like, you're gonna see it when we play it later. Like, that's literally that's the first thing you see when you open the game, by the way. And since it is a game you can play on Twitch, just know that it's allowed on Twitch. So if it's too violent for you, I will probably not watch the stream from now on. At least not this stream and next stream, unless we finish the game today, because the game is a game I can almost finish today. If not, I can finish it next stream. So, but yeah, I did like playing one human. I actually thought maybe I would try and play it in the future. Who knows? It's just like I mentioned this also. I want to, like, if I find time for it, do streams again where it's not scheduled. So I will always have Friday no matter what like this, but I plan on maybe just by the way, this is gonna be completely random if I ever do this, but if I ever end up doing a stream where I actually just play a game and it's like straight in, like the first thing you see when I open the stream is just me playing a game, and that's it. Having fun, playing games. That's basically what I will be doing. And it's probably going to be very random. So sometimes it might be extremely early, sometimes it might be like when you're about to go to sleep, I don't know. So just know that if I do that, that's just like an extra thing. I'm still always going to have the same schedule as I have now. Once a week, aka every Friday at 7 p.m. Also, I have 3 different time zones if you ever are curious as to when I'm actually on. But there's also another thing that I kind of stumbled upon, which was like, there's sometimes when you play, what's it called? Sometimes when you play a game genre that you normally are not that interested in, because I have a few different games, or not games but game genres, but I'm not specifically a fan of, but I do plan on making a little mini series on trying to play games that I don't like or that I don't normally play. Not like as in I played it before and I hate it. No, I mean games that I just straight up look at and I don't try and I'm like, that doesn't seem interesting to me. Games like that are like top-down viewed games where you look from like the sky down. Third-person games I'm not counting because that's a different type of game. But we're talking like strategy games, like war games, maybe even something like that. Oh yeah, and turn-based. Turn-based games, I've never been a fan of that because I'm always a fan of playing games where you are in it, like you first person, you're in it. That's way more interesting to me. I also do like third-person games too, by the way, but first person, because you feel way more immersed because you're literally looking at outside the head of the character. That is always my preferred type of gaming or games that I would like to play. But there are still gonna be quite a lot of third-person games I want to play too. So that's the number one kind of things that I would like to play more of. Games that has first person or third. But I will try, just for the fun of it, to play random stuff. And I actually thought, like, this is another thing. Now, what I'm gonna say now is not actually something that I know if I want or not, but because of my brain, like I've been told by my friends that I have a very negative outlook on life, and I do, but it's not like toxic negative. Like it's negative where I'm like incredibly skeptical, and well, there are some things that are negative, but we're not gonna get into that. What I'm trying to say is there are sometimes, what was I saying again? I don't even know why I was going with that, but okay. Do you just love the thing where you're talking about something and your brain just goes, huh? What was I talking about? Short memory loss. But yeah, I'm sorry if I'm more silent. I'm sorry if I'm kind of stuck right now, but I don't know. I'm just trying to not talk about negative stuff because I tend to do that also. That's the kind of tendency I have. We don't like that. Nah, we don't like that. We don't like that. But oh no, I know what I was trying to say. So what I was trying to say is, I don't think I'm gonna do this, but there is a slight chance that I might next year go on a break again, which I don't want to, but and what do I mean by a break? Well, I have been constantly on and off in a lot of my streams. So like I had a period where I streamed with my 1.0, like 4 streams, then I streamed for like a long time with my 2.0 model, and then I streamed for a long time with my 3.0 model, and now I'm on my 4.0 model. And I always kept on just being away for a long time, but I still posted, I still made videos on YouTube and TikTok I just didn't stream, basically, for like a long time. And I thought to myself, I really love making videos, actually. I really like editing, sometimes a little bit more, actually, than recording. Not to say that I don't like recording, but I just have fun editing my own videos. And I am sometimes considering that maybe I should just go straight over to YouTube. As in not streaming, but making just more YouTube videos instead. And having this streaming thing be less of a thing. So what I thought was, what if, hear me out. What if, when we reach the next year, by the end of January, I don't think, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'll be doing what I'm about to say, but this is just an idea. I thought of maybe, when we reach the end of January next year, I would just go on a long break from Twitch and instead just make videos on YouTube. Because that way, I might also be able to enjoy gaming a little bit more in a different way. Because as I said before, I don't have a problem with recording as much because I can probably get used to it. Because like I can just record for a whole day and then clip things together and make a video out of that. And I also want to do more VRChat content. I've said this so many times, I know, and I haven't really been doing a lot of VRChat yet, but I'm telling you, I want to do so much VRChat content. And one thing I'm gonna say actually is, I have a lot of I have a lot of VTuber clips channels. If you don't know what VTuber clips channels are, it's basically, well, why are you here? I'm watching a VTuber, that doesn't make sense. But there's a lot of VTuber clips channels that I follow, because if I don't, I have no possibility of keeping up with anyone. Like, I'm not going to be able to be updated about any of the VTubers that I watch, and also not be able to discover new VTubers. And there was one VTuber that I watched a clip of, which was actually not a clips channel that I followed. It was just a random video that popped up in my recommended section. And the VTuber was Camilla. And she mentioned something that actually might have given me everything I need to make all the different type of VRChat content that will be able, I genuinely believe this, that just by that one clip that I watched of Camilla yesterday, of her talking about something related to VRChat, I think I have gotten the perfect idea to what type of videos I want to make besides the VRChat videos I already wanted to make, and be able to actually have somewhat of an almost guarantee that there's a big audience who want to watch this type of video. I'm not gonna say more on that, because if I do, it's gonna get stolen. So no thank you. I like this thing where I can actually just relax now. I can play games when I'm not streaming. Again, I said this earlier, but I cannot stress how happy I was to finally play a game without recording, without streaming, after 2+ years. It was so nice. Oh my god. I know I might not have seemed like it a lot at the time when I do stream, but sometimes maybe recently, but in the past definitely you wouldn't be able to tell that I was stressed. But I have a lot of stress in my brain a lot of the time. Jesus Christ. The only thing that I can say that I will be doing, but I haven't talked to my friend Ebi about this yet, but I mentioned this in my 4.0 VRChat VTuber model reveal thing stream that I did. Not last stream, but last stream again, where I mentioned that me and my friend Ebi was talking about maybe making a VRChat podcast. We don't know what it will be about yet, but we're talking about maybe making a podcast. But me and him just talked because he mentioned that I'm apparently, from his perspective at least, a guy who is extremely easy to talk to, whether it being deep conversations or just regular normal stuff or a passion or whatever it is. And I was like, well, if you say that's how it is, then I guess, you know what? let's try and find out if people find that true or not. And he, because I want to make other videos of maybe interviewing people, but then I was like, but then I have to be social, even in VRChat, and that's scary, because like, when you go into VRChat, there's a lot of things that typically is not always that fun about being inside VRChat. One specific thing in general is the age gap, which really just kills the interest for a lot of people. You might think that I'm overreacting right now, but I'm telling you that I'm telling you there are so many VRChat players who are not kids, who are not teenagers, who really want to play VRChat, but just like a lot of the time they just end up not playing because, well, there's so many kids in VRChat. And do you want to know what they end up doing then when they play VRChat? They end up playing in a private world, and since they don't have many friends, they end up just being stuck in those worlds, because either that or they're forced to going into public worlds where you have to talk to like 90% of the people in there, and the 90% of the people in there are kids or teenagers. And it just ruins everything. Like, the only way you can play with adults, if you're also an adult too, so you can actually find people your actual age range, so you can actually relate to and want to be friends. If you play in old VRChat PC VR only worlds, meaning worlds where Quest users can't go in. Well, they can, but we have to do a workaround for that. Although again, there are still gonna be kids who use desktop, but there's still less kids that way. But I just wish there was a way to like remove all of it. In fact, I'm not even kidding you. In the past, I loved, like, I always had the thought of like, couldn't it be fun if I could make my own VR game kind of like VRChat? And I genuinely, I'm not shitting you, I'm genuinely right now, like the past few weeks ago, I've been slowly thinking of, you know what? What if I made a VRChat game, but I put all the features I want into it so that kids have an annoying time of getting into the game, so that people who genuinely want to only play with adults, and worst case scenario, teenagers who are almost adults, they can play on a game that's like VRChat. And I actually thought, like, so there's another application. There's a few applications you can play besides VRChat that are extremely similar but has their own thing too. So first we have VRChat, of course. Everyone knows VRChat. It's a social platform where you can use programs to make your own avatar and also make your own world, so that you can then upload into VRChat and play inside VRChat. That is the basic thing of what VRChat is. A social platform where you can do all that. And then we have Near's VR. Near's VR is basically like VRChat, but it's also a game engine, meaning that you can go into, you can literally have a VR headset on, and you can program inside while you have your VR headset on. So you can make a whole fully fledged developed game while you're in a platform or in a game world that looks like VRChat. So you can literally make your own VR game inside Near's VR. That is extremely similar to VRChat in that sense. Like, it's a social game. It's a social game, but you can make a game inside the game. That sounds crazy. And then we have another social VR platform called Resonate, which is basically the same as Near's VR, but the difference is there's no crypto mining thing in it, and it's more open and more collaborative, I think. But there's more like collaboration features, so like you can collab with other creators to build things together inside of it. It's more friendly basically, but it's almost the same. And then we have the one platform that is probably the closest alternative you will find to VRChat that is as good as VRChat. Well, it's actually better performance-wise. So basically, in VRChat, everything lags a lot. But in this game called Chillhop VR, imagine VRChat, okay? But it is so much better. I'm not overreacting. Chillhop VR is way better than VRChat. Everything, there's never any lagging in the game. It never lags. You can even play VRChat worlds that's been imported into Chillhop VR. That even in my experience looks even better than the worlds in VRChat. There's also, while there is a less player base, there's still people who plays it, but not as much as VRChat, because the problem is VRChat in on itself has become such a normal game that everyone just plays, to the point where everyone is on that platform. Meaning that if you want to play a game that is similar and better than VRChat, it just isn't gonna happen. Because even though Chillhop VR is literally everything that VRChat is, but better, because of the less amount of people who plays it, they just don't. And it's kind of sad actually, but I want to make my VRChat clone. I want to make my VRChat game, but I want to make it even better than VRChat and Chillhop VR also. I don't know how I'll go about it, but me and Ebi both were talking a lot about how we both can like 3D model, and we can we can also both texture, and we can do multiple things that you would need multiple people to do to make a game. And he actually also explained to me how VRChat gets away, well, not gets away, that sounds weird, but how VRChat can make so many worlds. Because I didn't know this, by the way. This is actually a really good thing you need to know if you want to make multiplayer games without ever needing to buy a service to host all your game servers on. So let me try and explain this in a little bit less technical matter, because this is turning a little bit too technical now. But basically, imagine this. When you make, I'm going to use Minecraft as an experiment, or as an example here. So Minecraft, what do you do if you want a Minecraft server that you don't just make on your own PC? You buy it online. The place where you buy your Minecraft server is a hosting website, basically a website that hosts and has your Minecraft server open at all times, that you purchase or buy to have open every month, sometimes every year. It depends on the application or whatever you buy. But imagine that is basically kind of the same thing that every other game that isn't Minecraft that needs a server with multiplayer on to be able to work, that they do the same. So VRChat, I do think to some extent VRChat probably has some kind of hosting service, but they don't need VRChat don't need a hosting service, because the genius thing about VRChat is you can actually just open up a world, and then that world is hosted on your PC and everyone can join. That's how VRChat, the world's opening and hosting thing, works. So every time you open a new every time you open a new VRChat world, like, you know how like you always make a new VRChat world that's like friends only or invite only or whatnot, that is literally you hosting the world, the VRChat world, on your PC, and then making people be able to join based on, again, the restrictions that you have put in. You don't need to buy a server to do that. Think about it. You can just have it be hosted like that, and because there already are many people in VRChat that literally has a secondary PC where they open it on that PC, do nothing with it, and then go on their second PC and then play inside that world. That way, the VRChat world is always open. Now that's a little bit of a specific use case, but all I'm saying is everyone can actually make a VRChat game if they use this method. Because you don't need to buy a hosting service, you don't need to do any of that. The only thing you do need is to be able to pay Steam themselves so that they can, of course, have your game on it. And that's where, like, it's a good thing that VRChat, even though it might not be as fun for some people, but it's not that big of difference, is VRChat has this thing called VRC Plus, which basically gives you extra features or accessibility to some things. And that's actually the genius way of doing it. Give as much access as possible to as many people as possible, and then give like the extra features behind the paywall thing, because then they can use that paywall thing to pay Steam to have the game open. And then there's of course a lot of other things they need to do too. And because it is a social platform, you are going to need to plan out events, unless you, again, you can make a game that's kind of like VRChat, where you give all the power to all of the users, all the players, so that you don't really have to do much other than update the game, optimize it so it runs well, all of that stuff. And I want to make that. I also want to make a game like Phasmophobia, because I'm tired of the fact that Phasmophobia still haven't given us a level editor. If you don't know what a level editor is, it's basically a program that lets you make a world that you can then upload into Phasmophobia, and then you can play that world. Go hunt inside that world. Like, that's basically what a level editor is. Just an editor that you can use to make a world into any game, specifically whatever that level editor is made to. Like, there's also a level editor you can use to make your own Counter-Strike Go worlds. Counter-Strike 2 as it's called now. And I'm just saying, it's so dumb, because Phasmophobia is one of those types of games where it's heavily focused on the world. So the more worlds they have inside Phasmophobia, the more people are gonna buy the game, and the more people are gonna keep playing it. So the only thing they need to do is release a level editor, give the power to the people to continuously make worlds, give it mod support, so that we can have those worlds be easily downloaded and played with other people, and boom, you have an instant replayability that Phasmophobia is going to become the #1 most played co-op horror game of all time on Steam for a very long time, and they don't need to do anything else. That's all they need to do. They could literally just never need to make any updates ever. They just need to give mod support and make us have a level editor. That's all they need to do, and they never need to do anything else. I'm not overreacting. It is that simple because of the type of game Phasmophobia is. Now, I love creating worlds. I have created worlds before in Blender to VRChat. In fact, I had 2 worlds. I only really showed you one of them, but I had 2 worlds in VRChat that I normally, what I did make myself come from scratch. And I'm not kidding you. As soon as I heard my friend EB tell me that the way that multiplayer works in VRChat, I was like, but that means that I can make a VRChat game myself, and I don't even have to spend money on it, other than what I need minimally to have the game be up on Steam. Wait a second. So I'm not gonna lie, the more I think about this, both on and off stream, the more I like talk about this with my friend Evie, the more I'm slowly considering that maybe I will actually make my own VRChat game, and then just make it so that, again, make it so that there's a way so that people who are not 18 or over 18 can play. And I have my own systems, and it might be limiting to some extent, but I'm just gonna say this. I had my own genius system that I presented not last time, but a few times back to VRChat, and I'm really hoping, even though I don't think VRChat is ever gonna see that video, but I hope they will at some point in the future, because I have thought of my own system of how we can make it so that people don't interact with other people who are way too far away from their own age range, and then not cause issues, because VRChat is a very gray area where there's a lot of, like, well, you know, there's a lot of things that happens in VRChat that is not okay, and also just limits the possibility of you meeting people in your own age range, because 90% of people are freaking kids, and the people who have met each other that are in their own age range stay in the private worlds for the sole reason that there's no way of cutting off the kids, teenagers, and adults from each other without having constantly no way of actually befriending someone in your own age range. And I presented my own way of how we can fix this. And now it can't really fix it fully, but it can minimize the chance of you having to talk to people who are underage or just very far away from your own age range. And my idea was, what if we do this? What if you have a little icon that you cannot turn off, by the way? You cannot turn it off. The only way you can turn this icon off, this is my idea by the way, is if you turn everything off. So like, you know, like how there's a way where you can turn all the usernames off so you can't see the names to make it more immersive. I think that's the only way you should be allowed to turn off that feature. Because if you can turn off this little icon thing besides the username, it's pointless. Like, there's no reason to have it, because then people can just keep lying even more about the age. What my idea is, imagine if you have a little icon that is beside your username, and that icon has either a number or a color. If it has a number, it says how old your account is. Now, if you have merged your VRChat account, so meaning that you had a VRChat account and then you have a Steam account, but then because of limitations, you chose to merge your account together. So if you didn't know this, you can merge your VRChat account and Steam account together. What you could do then is you can have two icons. So have an icon that tells you with a number how old your VRChat account is, and then how old your Steam account is. And what my point is that if you have merged your account, that already means 100% guaranteed that they already had a VRChat account before a Steam account. So when you merge it, that's gonna be a multiplier telling you in total how old your account is. So that it doesn't matter if you merge your account, so people can't lie. My point is, many people start playing games at around the age of like 5 to 6 years old. That's normally where people have a Steam account and play games on Steam. For some it might be 4 years, but again, let's just keep it to like a standard and say it's about 5 years old where people start playing games on Steam, creating their account. Now, let's say that that's the case. If that's the case, then that means that all you have to do is plus 12 years. Well, not 12, 13 years. All you have to do is plus 12 to 13 years, and boom. Now make it so that there's an icon that tells you that, so that if the person who's playing and there's an icon besides the username, if that icon says 10 or 12, that means that you're almost guaranteed that that person is an adult. That way, if they have a number beside their thing, and because like what I'm essentially saying is this feature is not a guarantee. It's just a way of minimizing, so that if you see an icon besides the user tag, and that icon has a number that says something else compared to what they're saying in their own bio, or if they don't say anything in your bio, you can then yourself determine if you want to talk to that person or not based on that. If you want to actually befriend someone who is in your old age range, and not having to befriend kids and teenagers all the time because you can't find someone in your own age range. Meaning that if there's an icon that says 10 or 12, you can then block that person if you want to yourself, and then you can go on to the next person and talk to the next person. And that way, you can make it so that you don't end up talking to people who are way younger than you. That is literally the way. That is the only way you can fix or minimize rather the age gap in VRChat. Because The only other way you can do it, which would guarantee it so that you don't meet adults, but would also many people wouldn't be happy with having to do, is if you had to send in your identification of your own age. Or another way you could do it, which could kind of work, is if you have a credit card. Because if you have a credit card, not anything else. There are different types of credit cards, but there's a MasterCard credit card. If you have that card, that's a card you can only have if you are 18 years old. Meaning that if you can type in your credentials or your MasterCard credit card, that is a confirmation that you are 18 years old. Because if you try and type in another credit card, now I have a credit card. Now there are two requirements to have a credit card. There's one, you need to be 18 years old or over, and second, you need to have a big enough salary so that that's another thing you also need to have a credit card or MasterCard credit card. So if you have those two, then people know 100% you are an adult. You are at least 18 years old over. But you can also get another credit card, because I did get that credit card, and that credit card is a MasterCard debit card, which is a card you can get before you're 18 years old. And I actually tried searching up on trying to get a credit card, but because my salary is not high enough, I still can't get it. But all I'm saying is, if you had that credit card, you only had to type it in once, which by the way, you already do if you buy VRC Plus. You would be able to talk, or you would be able to have that data saved by VRChat, and then they already know that you're 18 years old. This is actually another thing that I just now thought of. What if, this is actually almost genius, but also annoying, and people would probably not be happy about this, but think about this. We already have VRC Plus, a subscription thing. What if, okay, hear me out. What if you could buy a subscription tier where, which is a tier you can only buy using a credit card, a MasterCard credit card, because that way you will then be able to have, and then be able to, this is perfect. I just have the perfect, okay, so imagine this. Imagine that you can buy a subscription tier in VRC Plus where you can only buy it using MasterCard credit card, and you get a status thing that you can use to create worlds, so that when you open up another world, you can make it so only people who have that subscription tier can enter that world. That way, you cannot have anything but adults join that world. It might be a little bit annoying, because then you have to literally pay money to talk to people who are adults. But think about it. That is the only way that you can make a possibility of not having to talk to kids. Because that way they literally can't get in there. They literally can't. Because they need a MasterCard credit card, and the only way to have that is if you have two requirements fulfilled. One, being 18 years or older, and two, having a big enough salary to be able to have that credit card. Boom. Problem solved, but also annoying, because now we have to pay to talk to adults. But think about it. They don't even need to do anything. They just need to make another variation of some of the already existing subscription variants of the already are. I don't know, like, you know how like you can pay for 1 month, 3 months, or a year. All they need to do now is make a different version of those subscriptions, but where you can only pay, you can only buy those different versions if you have a credit card. That way, and then put the status thing in so that you can actually only go into worlds that has with people who have that status. That way you can talk to people who are adults. This is literally perfect. The only thing, well, we'll be complaining probably, is about the fact that you need to pay money to then talk to adults, which is very annoying. And I still don't get why we can't have some kind of like feature that somehow like just can scan how old you think are. Oh wait. What if, you know how like there are different things where you like you can get a status like user, new user, trusted user, all those things. What if you could get a status, okay? But you can only get after having played VRChat for the same amount of hours that there is in wait, I have to figure out how many hours is that, but yes, that's a lot. Let me try this. Actually, I want to change the screen now. Let me just let's not do that. Okay, so let me try and go in and do this. So what if, okay, hear me out. Let me try and move over here. I want to try and see if this is possible. So my idea now is this. What if we have a status? So let me just look this up. VRChat status. What is that? VRChat status. No, I just want to see the. Okay, but okay, that's okay. This is what I mean. So if you look at this image right here, right? Open image, a new tab. If you look at this, you have visitor, new user, known user, trusted user, and friend. What if we had another status right here, where how many hours is this? Let me just try and put up the calculator here. If you would let me, that is. Sorry, a button fell off my keyboard. So how many hours are there in a year? How many hours are there in a year? Jesus Christ. Okay. That's a little bit too crazy. Okay, wait. Instead of saying hours, I think hours is a bad idea. Maybe we should say days. So we all know there's 35 days, like 365 days in a year. So if we do that calculation and then say that this is the amount of days there are, and then plus this will 13. Well, no. Do this and then times 13. Meaning, if you reach the day where you have played 4,700 and let's just say 50 days, when you have gotten to that, you can then get a status, right? You can then get a status where you can only enter worlds using this specific worlds, by the way. This is actually genius. What if, because they can make this even easier than what I said before. So what if we just make it so that if you are a VRChat player that had played about 12, let's just say 12, it's just easier, let's just say that. Let's say that you have played VRChat for 12 years. You will then get a status, and then get also another version that you can use of like the invite thing. So you can make a world where only people who had played 12 hours can enter. Not 12 hours, 12 years. That way, you will only need people who are adults. So they don't even need to implement much. They just need to make another tier, like another status thing here. I don't know what you would call that. Crazy user, I don't know, something. Because VRChat, please just do this, okay? Just make another one, another status after trusted that you can get if you have played VRChat for 12 years. Maybe 10 years you could do that, I don't know, but I think 12 years would be better, because 12 years, about 12 to 13 years is about what you need to have passed for the person to be almost guaranteed to be like an adult. Worst case scenario would be 17 years old. You would fix so many issues and have so many more adults be wanting to come in and play, because then everyone who joins, everyone who can join are people who can only join who are actually adults. This is actually a genius idea. So they don't even need information other than like normally, again, they don't have to do years, they can also do hours. It's literally the same thing. But just saying that if you play the amount of hours that is in 12 years, or just play the amount of days also, that you can do that. Just play the amount of days that there are in 12 years. Boom. They can get a status, they can make a world where only those people who have those statuses can join. Easy peasy, no problem. That way, people would be encouraged to play more, and then people who are adults would be able to have a space they can play in and talk to each other without meeting all these other people. This is actually genius. Why didn't I think of this before? Dude, this is the way to make sure that there are more people, adults, who want to play VRChat without meeting kids all the time. This is genius. Because no matter what, even if you are a Quest user, you still can play. Because you still need the same amount of days. Think about this. This is genius. Dude, I think we might just have found the perfect way of making VRChat even more popular. Because now, if VRChat implemented this, a system where after having played for the amount of total days there are in 12 years, you then get a status above trusted user, and then you get to use that status as also a way of, like, when you make a portal into another world, only the same people with that same status can enter those worlds. That way, you will only meet adults, making it possible for only people who have an account that is that old to join, without needing to have any form of identification, and they don't need to do anything in terms of like proving their age, because their account is literally old enough to where most people would be 18 about that age. If not, like 99.99999% of people who play VRChat for about 12 years would be 18 years old. And even then, again, think about it, you can actually you can use the system in other ways too. It doesn't have to be just like ours. Why don't we have worlds where only trusted users can enter, only known users can enter, user, new user, visitors? Because even though, yes, that would kind of limit it, but if you make this into a possibility, think of it like this. You will be able to meet people who have played as long as you have, at minimum. You'll be able to relate to each other more in terms of what you have experienced in VRChat. You will find more people who are probably way more like the same as you, as in like many people who have the user states, the status user or no user, probably don't play as much on all the time or as regularly as trusted users. But that then means if you can make a world where only known users and users come in, you can play with people who are probably not as active as trusted users and still meet the same people after many weeks later, because it's more normal. I don't know. I feel like this would actually be a genius thing, because think about it like this, okay? Even if VRChat don't want to have like another status above, even if they don't want to create another status above trusted user, if they can just use this feature of like making worlds where only if you have one of these status you can join, that would solve so many problems though. Because, well, that will still be problematic, but it will still minimize it. Not much, but it will minimize the thing about problems of like meeting younger people or like kids or whatnot. Even though all you have to do is play for like, I think 500 hours, and then you get trusted status, or like between 500 and 1000, which is like that's just too easy if you ask me. I still think we do need another status above if we want a higher chance of like limiting it. But I still do think to some degree, even if they don't want it, if I can just make it so the only specific users can join worlds, that would fix so much, bro. Because there's so many trusted users who are adults. There are not going to be that many who are not adults. Or at least the many people who are trusted users, even if they're not adults, they're going to be like very close. Like they're going to be like 17, 18, I think. That would be very realistic, at least, because if you think about in the way that how old their account is. Like, dude, this is genius. Please, VRChat, you need to do this. Make worlds where you can configure the world or like the portal before you drop it, so that only people who have that specific user status can join that world. So you can imagine how many awkward situations you can get out of too. If you have a little kid or a teenager who like constantly keeps checking it, going around with you, even though you said you don't want to talk to them, and they just desperate, keep trying and all that, you could be able to cut them off where it's less awkward. This would be perfect. Because you both have the option now of separating people, but also not separating people, because now it's just an option you can use. This would be perfect, dude. Oh my god, I really hope VRChat does this, because I do think there's a higher chance that even if they don't want to do the thing where I said again, make another status above trusted user, I do think there's a high chance that we might get away with getting a feature in the future where only specific users can join a world, and not only like if you're friends with them or like you can only invite them, or if it's public or whatnot. It would be perfect. Oh my god, bro, I need to write this down to VRChat as soon as possible tomorrow. I need to write this, and everyone who watches this, okay, please do this too. This, even though this wouldn't fix a lot of problems, it would minimize a lot of the times where you want to talk to people in your same age range and people in VRChat, befriend people who are not kids. If you're an adult, you actually want to be able to relate to them and have a good time instead of being around annoying squeaky kids. Please send this idea out to every single developer of VRChat as soon as possible. This would be such a big thing. It doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, it would be a lot. It would be amazing. We need this. In fact, you know what? As soon as I can in the future, I will cut this into a video. But if you see this, it's probably going to be uploaded as a VOD on my YouTube channel. If someone sees this, please clip this idea and then put it into, send it to VRChat, or just send the idea to VRChat that, wouldn't it be cool if you could have worlds where only specific users can join? Literally, that's it. Clip what I just said now and send it to VRChat, the developers, right now. Please just do that. Ask them if we can get a system where only specific users can join the people that you made the portal. No. Let me just rephrase this so I can cut it in, so I can clip this. Also, please clip this if you see this. VRChat, can we please get a system where only specific users can join the worlds that they make? But no. VRChat, can we please get a system where when you make a portal or worlds, only specific people who have a specific user status, whether it being visitor, new user, known user, or trusted user, can actually enter the world? So only one status, by the way. Can we please get a system where only trusted users can join a world, only known users can join a world, user can join a world, new user can join a world? Please, we need a system like this. This would fix a lot of the problems related to the age gap of constantly meeting squeaky kids in VRChat. This would fix so many things, or at least minimize it. Please, can we get this? We need this. I'm gonna say it one more time just so I have a good take. VRChat, can we please get a system where when you make a portal into a world, only people who have a specific user status can go into that world? It would fix a lot of the issues in terms of the age gap of constantly having kids being around you and never be able to meet anyone else in your own age range and befriend people who are actually close to you but you can relate to. Please, VRChat, this would minimize a lot of issues when it comes to the age gap and all stuff too. Just please, can we get that feature? Okay, what time is it now? Okay, I'm gonna remember this time. In fact, I'm gonna take a screenshot. I'm clipping this and I'm sending this out to VRChat as soon as possible when I can. And you too, please do that. This would just help raise the awareness. Oh my god, yes. This would be so good. This is genius. This is a genius idea. We need this. Pains, what the frick? We need this. This is genius. Oh my god, yes. Genius VRChat idea. Time mark, I don't know. Yeah, I've saved that. Okay, good. Okay, now that that's done, let's go into this game for one. I want to go in and play this now. Now, I want to say this game in itself apparently there's very like transphobic and homophobic stuff in it too, and there's a lot of abusive stuff, violence or whatnot. So just so you know, this is just how the game is. I didn't know this until now, but I want to play it because, well, I'm researching like things on what games I should play, so there's a higher chance people will find me. Because if I play a game that many other people play, no one is gonna find me on Twitch, because Twitch's discoverability is utterly shit, literally. So you've been warned now, and I'm just gonna open the game again now so you can see the warning too, so you also have been warned by the game itself and not just me.